record and nobody and we just wasted all the facial expression,
I
all our
swear, proper.
energy. I said, oh, we did not record it. Anyway, yeah. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of AMC Live. Today, I have the honor to have Emmanuel. Is that right?
Yeah,
Pronunciation?
Emmanuel. Yeah.
Today, I have the honor to have Emmanuel Nelson, and give me one sec. Let me repeat. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to AMC Live today. We have the honor to have Emmanuel Nelson to join us today. He has a rich background on credit building, and he also has a school community called what's it?
The credit hub.
The Credit Hub. So let me start with this. For anyone new to you, who is Emmanuel Nelson in your own words?
Yeah, thank you for the question though. So I would say Emmanuel Nelson is actually a fintech entrepreneur, right? And then a funding strategist focused on actually helping everyday people access capital the right way. So using OPM. So I work at the intersection of credits, funding, and systems. And my goal is to help people repair their financial foundation, position their profiles correctly, and to actually leverage that to access real opportunities. That is what I really, really, really focus on. And then whether it's buying a home, starting a business, getting a vehicle, or scaling a business, a lot of people think funding is only for like large companies or people with perfect credits, but when you really understand how the system works, it becomes much more accessible. So that's where I come in to really dive in and help you maneuver through that process to get you to the next level.
That's great. So OPM stands for other people's money. That's
Yes.
also in the world of AMC, the course we said at leverage, right? The OPM,
Nice.
we want to use other people's money, other people's time, OPT, to really have that at leverage to get our business to the next level. In
Yeah,
your introduction, Emmanuel, you mentioned you help clients secure over $30 million in funding. Can you
correct.
use that as an example and tell us how did you get that into work? That's a large number, $30 million.
Yeah, so I've been doing this for close to over 5 years now. Um, and then on average, every business owner that comes to us gets um 100K as like the limits they get as far as like what they get approved for on a credit card on a line of credit or something. That's the average. So people get up to 250K. I mean, some also get, 85K, 95K based on their credit profile and based on, how much time they've been in business and so many factors. But on average, each business owner gets $150,000 in business funding, right? And we funded so many businesses. It's more than 1,000 businesses because we started like 5 years ago, like I said. So if you multiply that, it's a bit more than 3 million, but I mostly use 3 million just, as a cap. But,
Mhm.
mostly we fund different industries and all that. But yeah, that's the whole idea. When you multiply it, it's a lot, probably like 3.5 or 3.6, going.
That's great.
Yeah.
So it's a mix of business credit, the 0% APR, and maybe some line of credit. It's a mixture of everything, right? In terms of the
Yeah.
business.
Yeah, so we do. So basically, that's one thing. So we do. So based on, I mean, we, rate the factors and we rate like the business and the business credit health and all that. But we do a combination of different things. We do 0%. We do lines of credit. We do short-term loans, long-term loans. We even do MCAs. We do SBA. We do SBA Express. So it's a combination of different things, right? But so far as you qualify for it, we could get you access to that.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then
That's great.
SBAs are huge too as well. So you could literally get like a a 650 SBA. Like a week ago, we got someone like 350K in SBA. I mean, it takes a longer time as compared
Yes.
to like the credit cards, which is just, a month or like less than a month. SBAs take like, not the express though, the actual SBA takes like, 6 months or 5 months or whatever. But when
Hmm.
you get the money, you get it huge. You get like 50, like 250, like 650,000 or probably like 350,000 or 450,000, which is huge. You can use that to scale your business. So we do a combination of everything else. But
Definitely.
yeah, some of the business owners don't really have what it takes, like the documentations and all those things for like those huge, like the SBAs and the short-term loans and those things like that. So when it comes to like the 0% and the regular lines of credit, we just need like a good personal credit profile. That's it. And
Mhm.
then you should have an LLC, which is at least, 2 months or 3 months old. And then we could get you a business credit card at 0% to start up, like just, to beef up like your beginning stages. And then as time goes on, when you start getting tax returns and, P&Ls and other things, then we could look towards the SBAs.
Hmm. That's
Yeah.
great. So
Mhm.
let's demystify something. When we say OPM, other people's money,
Yeah.
can you give us some examples? What could be wrong? What people usually get wrong when in terms of OPM?
Yeah, so most people actually think other people's money means like maybe taking a reckless risk with like borrowed capital, like maybe, but that's actually the opposite of how it should be used though. Because smart leverage is about using capital strategically to create opportunities, that wouldn't exist otherwise, right? Because banks, they're willing to lend to you, they lend billions every single day. So it's not about like avoiding debt entirely, but it's about understanding how to structure it responsibly so it fuels growth rather than just, it's becoming a burden. So you have to leverage it correctly. So that's where people are missing the point of OPM.
Yes. Also, OPM doesn't mean another person, right? It's most of the
No,
situation is the institute, this
it's the
financial
banks, the
institution, the
institutions, the
bank.
lenders. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And then it doesn't mean you have to pay a double digit interest on those money if you structure it well, like what you mentioned, the 0% promo APR. If
Yeah.
you know how to stack it, right, you don't really have to pay anything, but you have to
No.
know the strategy, how you plan it well. You don't want to
Yeah.
over leverage, and then you don't have when you use 250K and then the deadline is next month, you have no money to pay the credit card
True.
company. And that
Yeah.
that could become a nightmare very, very soon,
Honestly,
correct?
trust me. Yeah. So that's why like anyone that comes to me that's new to business, I'll be like, okay, let's do 0%, right? Because that's the way to like start up and scale. Because it's 0% for
Mhm.
like 24 months or like, 60 months or whatever the case may be. And then you could even balance transfer it on another 0% card and extend the 0%, period. Because that helps when you're starting off. Because I wouldn't advise you to go for like, a long-term loan or something that has a high interest rate and you're starting off and you're figuring things out and you're still paying high interest, it would just really put you in the pits. So I
Mhm.
always make sure, my clients that come to me that are in the early stages of business, they already always like go for the 0% interest cards or the lines of credit, just so it helps them like in the beginning stages, so they don't have to like
Mhm.
really worry about paying back interest and yeah.
Definitely. So what does a smart, responsible leverage with credit and funding look like to you?
So I would say responsible leverage actually means like preparing first, right, before accessing capital. You can't just jump into it. So that
Mhm.
includes, getting your credit profile correctly, the right account structure, and then actually like a clear plan, having a game plan on how the capital will be used because you need to have a game plan to you can't just get a funding and decide to like, just spend it. Like you have to have a game plan for it, right? If it's
Definitely.
advertising, if it's expansion, if it's things like that. But when
Hmm.
it's really done correctly, leverage can accelerate your progress. So whether that's maybe launching a business, expanding operations, acquiring assets and things like that. So the key is actually discipline and strategy.
Mhm.
So you have to have discipline and strategy when you're handling debts because you need to have those things just so you know you have a game plan and you're working towards the game plan. But you don't have to work on impulse because if you work on impulse, you get into like more debt and it would end up, in a bad way. So
Definitely. And then the best way to describe it is you prepare the money when you don't need the money, right? Not the other way
yes,
around. When you need the money,
correct.
you start to preparing the money. Sometimes it
Yeah.
doesn't go your way, especially
No,
you're in a
trust
time
me.
crunch. Yes, exactly. So I know you have this credit hub school community, right?
Yeah.
Can you describe a little bit your framework? It mentioned you do credit repair, you help other people to gain credit, line of credit or
Yeah.
business credit. How can you walk us through in your framework to get people funded for the business credit?
Yeah, so basically, so the credit hub is it's a framework built around three stages, right? So the first is credit reset. So we address like the negative items, and we have so many negative items, collections, repossessions, charge-offs, late payments, child support, student loans, all those things are negatives on there, right? So we
Hmm.
address all those things, and then we rebuild the profile correctly. So rebuilding the profile means like we structure the profile correctly, so it's like funding ready. And then the second thing we do is positioning. We position you correctly. So we structure the credit profile in a way where when banks see you, where underwriters see you, like they actually chase you to actually give you the money. Because they are willing to give you the money. They just want to see that the profile is structured correctly. So
Hmm.
that's the second thing we mostly do on there, which is positioning, structuring the credit profile in a correct way. Even though you don't have negatives on there, we need to make sure we have trade lines. We have like higher limit amounts, so you have comparable credits. So when they see it, they see that, oh, this person is making on-time payments, they have some comparable limits, which is amazing. So let's lend to this person. So that's what we do on the second phase. And then the third phase is the capital access, where we actually apply for funding across the right lenders and then the financial institutions. But we do it strategically because we have like a specific sequence, because we have three different bureaus, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion as far as the US banking system.
Hmm.
So the US credit system. So basically, we want to make sure we are maximizing that and then we wouldn't have so many hard inquiries whilst, we are working based on that sequence. So it's we just have to like strategize that and make sure, that's aligned in a way where you have less inquiries but higher funding. So yeah, those are the three steps. The credit resets, the positioning, and then the capital access.
That's great. That's very clear. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah,
You see a
absolutely.
lot of credit repair commercials, right? You also mentioned credit repair. Exactly what you're repairing.
Yeah. So as far as that, so basically when it comes to that, depending on the person's profile, right? That's where so we need to do a credit audit first for you and then see, depending on your profile, that's where we see what exactly to fix or repair, because some people have like closed accounts, open accounts, some people have collections, some people have repossessions, but we mostly use consumer law, which is illegal, and then we use Metro 2 as well. We use the CFPB. All these things are legal, right? We use these laws
Mhm.
to make sure, everything is accurate on there. So if we see anything inaccurate, we could dispute it with the bureaus. So Experian, Equifax, Trans, we dispute it with each and every one of them. We want to make sure everything's compliant. So they need to take it off. So that's where consumer law comes in. So when it comes to credit repair, that's it. So the first thing is we need to take a look at your credit reports. That's where the credit audit comes in, just to have a general overview of what exactly is wrong, because
Mhm.
everyone's situation is different, right?
Yes.
So when we see
Yeah.
that, then we then draw a game plan and start disputing these items based on the consumer laws as well. And then one thing that differentiates Credit Hub from other company is we do have a portal, right? We do have a portal, we have a mobile app, we have so this helps you to like track your progress. So from credit repair to funding, like you see your fundability score. So as your credit keeps improving, your fundability scores what increases as time goes on. And then you can see the things that are disputed every 2 weeks. So let's say in a week or two, maybe your collection went off, maybe you had one late payment that was, you know, readjusted to like paid on time. You would see the progress actually. So you would see everything on your portal and you could track everything. You could upload your documents. So it makes the process seamless.
Hmm.
Other credit repair companies aren't doing that. So I really don't even call the credit hub a credit repair company. We are more like it's a hub, right? It's a
Like a
combination of different
consulting.
things. Yes,
Yeah.
because we help you throughout the whole process. We don't just leave you in the dark for you to like figure everything else out. We help
Hmm.
you fix your credit and then, okay, what's the next step? Do you need funding? Do you need to get a new car? Do you need to get a new apartment? Do you need help with mortgage? Because you also have like we also have connections to those people. We have tax preparers, we have, mortgage agents, like you as well, like you're good with when it comes to like tax and other things, right? So we have resources. So when you get to that level and you have good credit and you are ready to go, we lead you to the right path. We don't just leave
Hmm.
you, astray like
That's
other
great.
companies do. Yeah.
Hmm. Especially the visual, right? People want to
Yes.
see the progress. So where was I? My score was like 570. Now it's 740. So you
Yes.
can see the progress. So
Yes.
in your school, you also mentioned funding fast track. Can you explain that and see how that will help people get at least 50 to 250K in funding approvals?
Yeah, so funding fast track is actually is a structured strategy, right? For approaching lenders instead of randomly just applying like different cards and all that and damaging your credit profile, we actually identify the institutions, right, that align
Mhm.
best with a specific client's profile. So based on your states, based on the number of years you've been in business, based on how your credit profile looks like. So we align it based on each and every single person, based on different factors. So when your credit profile is properly positioned and applications are actually timed correctly, approvals can stack like quickly across multiple institutions. So you could literally get 250K easily if we
Mhm.
follow all the sequences.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody wants the fast track, right? That like we
Yeah,
mentioned, we want to prepare for the money to be ready for us,
I
not when we
know.
really need it, go out and chase the money. So I'm sure you work with a lot of businesses, right?
Yeah.
For those business, some I'm sure they can win big. Some pretty they stalled or they plateaued. What are the factors separate those two?
So what was the question again?
I think the question is asking how those people, the best company who utilize the money to win big versus
Yeah.
people utilize money but they don't really know what to do.
So I feel like it's more of like a leverage thing, right? Because if you win big, like you have to have a game plan. You have to have resources. You have to have systems, automations, right? You have to hire people. You have to, because sometimes you can own a company, but you wouldn't really know what to do. You need to hire people that are in a position to help you out, to help you get to the next level. But I feel like most of the businesses they really stall as far as hiring like experienced people to like someone with operations, someone good at taxes, just hire experienced people to come into your business. I feel like that will get you to the next level because you have the revenue, you've gotten the funding. Now what next?
Mhm.
So you have to,
Yeah.
hire a CPA or someone to actually come into the business to help you, show you what's going on. Hey, like this is what you need to do so you don't have to pay crazy amounts of taxes this year. Like things like that. Just hire experienced people to come into your business to help you strategically grow or scale. If not, I don't think, you'll get to people will get to the next level. So it's really much about delegating task to
Mhm.
experienced people. Yeah.
That's great. The people with the vision to drive because money is also a tool, right? You want to
Yes.
use other people's money, other people's time, you're hiring, but it's still, by the end of the day, it's the leader, the head of the company, how this person can drive the company to the next level.
Yeah, because you
So
can't do everything on your own.
exactly. Yeah. So I know we're talking about using other people's money and get the funding. I'm sure a lot of people who are watching this, they want to use the OPM the right way, right? Since
Yeah.
it's still early of this year, what will be their first step? Do they need to study? Do they need to come and talk to you, come to talk to their CPAs? What's your suggestion on that?
So for anyone starting off like basic level, right? The first step is actually understanding your starting points because you need to know where you're at before you even know where you're heading towards, right? So you need to pull your credit reports. Credit is always the foundation, right? Pull your credit reports, review your profile, know what's negatives on there, like honestly, review your profile, and then, identify what needs improvement. If you need to pay your utilization down, I mean, if you don't really understand how to like review your credit report or anything, I mean, I do it in my community. You could just go in there. We have a quiz and you fill the quiz out and you could literally get a free credit audit with me or any of my team members. So that's the main thing. That's the basic thing. Review your credit report, review your profile honestly, right? And identify what needs to be improved. Then from there, you could focus on building like a strong financial foundation before actually chasing capital. Because everything capital wise, the foundation is credit. So if you don't have a strong credit profile, if you don't have a strong credit score, I don't think you should be chasing like capital. So that's the basic thing. Review your profile with you. So if your credit is positioned correctly, like the funding opportunity, they will even chase you with the money, right? They will even chase you with the funding and whatsoever. So just make sure your credit is positioned correctly. Review that, know that these are the negatives. So then you draw a game plan. Okay, what next? Do I want to, reach out to maybe Nelson or Emmanuel or, to help me, take these negatives off and then add, trade lines or positive items off and then for it to like structure correctly for lenders to actually see and be like, oh yeah, this looks funding ready. So we're ready to give you the money.
That's great.
So it's all
Yeah,
about
we
the
call
foundation.
mhm. Yeah, we call it the X-ray, the baseline, right? Where you are at, where you
Yes,
want to go, and how you can get there with
correct.
professional help, right? Educate yourself. And then
Yeah,
it's really about, it's really about the daily activity. Don't do
I
anything bad,
know.
right? Some bad move can hurt your credit maybe 5, 10 points or 7 points.
Easy. Yeah.
Yeah. So the Credit Hub community on school, you founded that community. What's the reason behind it?
So, funny thing, right? So I built the credit hub, right? Because most people try to navigate credit and funding alone. Trust me, I've been through that whole, so I know how it feels. So the community actually creates an environment where members can actually learn the system, ask questions, and follow we have like a 90-day roadmap. So you could follow a structured roadmap. So most of my mistakes that I've made in the past, I've literally built it like in a course form. And then you have people in there that are going through the same scenario. So if you are here and someone is here, the person here could ask you, hey, how did you get here? And then they could even help you without even asking me personally. So
Mm,
that's where the community comes in. So inside the community, actually, we break down the strategies. We share real data actually. So like, hey, this is my score. This is what I'm trying to head towards. This is what I did. So like, you could even learn from it as time goes on. And we guide the members from credit repair all the way to funding ready.
mhm.
So it's like a win-win situation.
Yeah, that's great. So
Yes.
community now is the asset, right? It's not the
Yes.
asset to the community owner, it's the asset
Yeah.
of every single member inside of the
Yes.
community.
Correct.
So we'll definitely put your school community in the description of of this video. Yeah,
Yeah.
join Emmanuel and then study and educate yourself. So eventually get the baseline ready, right? It's like building a house. You need to
Nice.
drill down and build the foundation. Then you stack up and get all the money and get whatever the funding you will need
Yeah.
along the way in the
Hmm.
future. So, any final word you want to share with us for anyone who watching this and who wants to have some other people's money or some capital? Any final words for the audience?
I would just say follow the blueprints. That's it. Follow the blueprints. Just, take things step by step. I mean, getting your credit up there, it took time to actually spoil or win your credit. So it will take time to build it. So mostly it's always patience, right? Always have patience when it comes to credit. Things related to credit. If you build it properly or correctly, you definitely get to the next level easily. So it's always patience.
Definitely. And then
Yeah.
do the right thing, right? Patient and then do the right thing. I
Yeah.
think education, I'm sure you do a lot of education in your school community. It's really about credit. It's not a complex thing, but people
Yeah.
just don't have time to study it.
You
I
steady
know I
now. Yeah.
personally made a lot of mistakes along the way, such
Yeah.
as I think I canceled the first one when I landed here in the US. I'm here almost 26 years.
Nice.
Right now, my credit history only has 17 years. I think a lot of the people saying hold on to the oldest credit
Yeah,
card,
you
right?
don't need because
Never
you
cancel
need
it.
that history. You don't need to like close the card
Exactly.
though. Yeah, just let it be there. I mean, you could pay everything off, but just let it be there. So it helps you with the history, which is great.
Yes, and I also had few those department store when I was really like young, right?
Yeah.
You buy,
Yeah.
and they I think they make commission when they try to sell you the
They
credit
do.
card. I don't have like a town, right? I have probably two, three, and then later on people are saying telling me those are bad ones, right? Don't because once you have that, they keep pulling and checking your credit. So,
Yes.
but even it's not a hard pull, but it was still showing all the inquiries and everything. So,
Correct. Yeah.
I, yeah, I think it's not that difficult thing, but it's just you have to educate yourself to make sure you're doing the right thing, not the wrong thing like the one I just described. So I really appreciate Emmanuel, you come to this. Do you want me wait a little bit to close up?
No, 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 that's perfectly
You
fine.
good? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Emmanuel, to come to this episode. I hope you all learn a lot from Emmanuel's talk and then
Yeah.
credit building, like what he said. It's not difficult, but it takes patience. It takes the right steps to get there. I'm
That's it.
sure eventually everyone can get to that 200, 500K business funding or capital. Thank you
Easy.
so much,
Thank
Nelson.
you. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much
so
for
much,
having me.
Emmanuel. Oh,
Thank you so much for having me. Yeah.
let's redo this. Thank you so much,
Thank you so
Emmanuel.
much for having me. Thank you so, so much.
Okay, everybody join Emmanuel's group and then start building your credit today so you can have some other people's money. Oop, you
Let's
okay?
go.
So you can have some money, so you can have other people's money in your pocket. No, let
Yeah.
me repeat this. Um,
Okay.
okay, I'll cut some of that. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, always. Anytime.
Okay, thank you. I know you probably have some background noise. I'll cut some of the
Yeah. My kid
background
is
noise.
awake now.
It's all right. Yeah. Okay, I'll let you go in your busy day. Thank you so much.
Thank you for
Once I
having me.
finish
Thank you.
everything,
Yeah.
I'll send the draft to you. Okay?
Okay. All right. I
Okay,
appreciate it.
thank
All
you.
right.
Mhm,
Bye.
bye-bye. Okay, bye.